Blessings, and welcome to He Vibes, She Dives. We are your hosts. I am Lady Drasmin.
I'm Timber.
And here on this channel, we talk spirituality, higher magic, and anchoring the new Now Earth timeline. And here we are again. We're about to connect again over a delicious pot of scalding cacao in even spicier cups. Oh, goodness. And then next week you tune in, listen to Timber, and the following week you will tune in to my special wisdoms. We love and appreciate your comments as they help us, tap into the individual messages that we bring through. So thank you, everyone, for engaging with us, for liking, for commenting, for sharing, and bringing your own unique perspectives and thoughts into our show.
Yeah, takes a community.
It really does. So, let's see, is this... Okay, I can hold it.
You
so
sure?
I'm gonna, I can hold this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get you.
So here we are working with ceremonial cacao. I added a little extra cinnamon today.
Ooh. Is that for like the new moon energy of tapping into some cinnamon abundance?
We could, yeah. I mean, we just had a new moon and we are, as we're recording this, the last day of March. So we're about to go into the new month. So yeah, let's call that in. All that abundance coming in from us, just showing up and being raw, authentic.
We could use it. I will receive that gracefully.
Yes, thank you. Tips are generously received. I mean, generous tips are well received or something like that.
Yeah.
So thank you for your tips.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, goodness. So, might need a minute.
Yeah, we'll let it. We'll let it be.
While the Mayans calm down over here, let's find out what our topic is today.
Okay, I think it's your turn.
All right.
There's not as many left.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, the duality of being. Light, shadow, and balance. From what you were telling me about earlier, like this makes me smile.
Tell me more.
Well, obviously I'll let you share your own journey, but like, I don't know, it's like the whole, here we are stepping into a new timeline. It feels like we're both stepping into new timelines right now in our own ways. And yours is basically fuck it, I'm stepping back, and next thing you know, a door opens that you needed to be open.
Yeah.
So it's very fascinating. You know what I mean?
Yes, definitely. As we are recording this, we just had this very powerful solar eclipse in new moon in Aries, and there's something about Neptune as well. But the frequency that's coming in, that we are sitting in with right now, that no matter when you are receiving this transmission, you will feel this frequency as well, is the frequency of anchoring your highest timeline. And in fact, I have been sitting in ceremony. Today is day 4? 5. I don't know. 4 or 5. Time is just blending for me. This past week has been I don't know what's real world. I don't know what's my dream world. It's just taking me a lot longer to recalibrate to the human experience. It took me over almost 2 hours today. But we are definitely right now in this place where we have shifted into our highest timeline, and sun codes have been coming in. I've been channeling it through the didgeridoo, and I've posted them on YouTube. So if you're interested in receiving the sun codes transmission, that is available on my YouTube channel. Just type in sun codes. And this duality piece, to step into our highest timeline, we have to be integrated with our light and shadow, which means accepting of the dual nature that we occupy simply by being in the human experience. We cannot escape that the shadow exists I mean, even this, I'm casting a shadow, right, on the wall because I exist. And so one of the shadows that I have recently empowered, which Timber is referring to, is the cycle that I was in of being the problem solver, the doer, the giver, the fixer, the go-to for everyone and everything, and all the problems of life that just continue to attract towards me. And I had this realization, this like aha moment last week, that the reason why certain situations kept coming towards me, certain energies and people, is because it knew that I would help it.
Right?
So I stayed in this cycle of constantly being the fucking fixer.
Yeah, if the motel is open,
right,
people will come to stay the night.
The motel...
And not always the good people.
The motel is not only closed, the building's coming down. Okay? The whole thing is being raised down, and we're planting a food forest. Like, there's not even going to be traces of that motel existing there anymore. So this aspect of me that has been in deep imbalance of the masculine energy, was essential for survival. And yet, what was medicine became poison.
Almost like a trickster medicine.
Yeah.
Coyote medicine.
Yeah. It's almost like this illusion was created around the role and responsibilities that I had in my life that wasn't actually true. And it's like, it makes me think of the medicine of the shadow, how the shadows that are cast are not always reflective of what is casted, what is creating the shadows. And so it's important to look past the illusion of the shadow at the source and at the core of whatever might be casting that shadow.
Right? How many people have something that triggers them, instead of like being like, whatever's triggering, be like, you're triggering me, and pointing a finger, versus like, why is this triggering me? What's the source? And that's the shadow work, though.
And that's how we come into balance, by looking at the source of our light and our shadow, right? Because even our light can sometimes come from a distorted place, right? Like here I was perceiving that I was being of service, which yes, I was, but it was at the cost of disservice to me. And I hit a breaking point last week where it was like my internet shut down. Like I basically, like, that triggered a whole week of no work for me. The technicians who came, they were like, yeah, we've never seen this before. This is the strangest thing. It took them 3 hours to fix this issue because they just could not figure it out. And I was just over in here laughing my ass off because I'm like, this is that reset point. Like, the reset was so intense energetically within me that it took all of these moving pieces in the external to reset and reflect rather, that stabilization of duality within me. I mean, as we're recording this, we just went through the equinox portal, and equinox is a time where the balance resets, where the light and the shadow are at an equal meeting. And so I think it's a really, really great topic to have around, how do we navigate the duality of being, right? How do we navigate the light, the shadow, and maintain balance? Because when we come out of balance, that's when disease comes in.
I know. I remember when I was first studying Eastern medicine, and it was like when they broke it down to dis-ease. Just even that concept blew my mind. And I was like, wow, that just changed everything in the way I see diseases. And it's always fascinating.
Tell us more about that.
Well, it's just like, because like, especially in America growing up, it's just like, we're taught this is a disease and it's caused from external situations. Take this pill take these treatments, do this, 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 and this. Whereas opposed to like in the Eastern traditions, you know, especially even in acupuncture and all those other, they're like, who are you? Who are you? How are you being in your day-to-day life? What are you thinking? What are you doing? What do your relationships look like? How's work? Like they deep dive because they see it as you're out of harmony within yourself. You're the dis-ease. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, that's fascinating. But it changes how you see healing yourself or taking treatments or...
And how has that affected your life? That revelation and aha moment for you?
Well, in many ways. Because then I also started seeing through the lies of the pharmaceutical companies and all of that, for one thing. And two, it helped me tap into my ancient soul of knowing and remembering the ancient ways of healing and working with Mama Gaia to heal and to like work with the shamans, work with the healers, work with like, you know what I mean? Like get back to what's actually real.
And what's real is the body. The body is very real. The functioning of the body is very real. I mean, I also mirror you in that discovery of balance is the key to health and happiness, really, right? Like I've definitely had experiences where coming away from health, going into relationships a little bit where there's so much goodness of one thing happening, but then other areas are being neglected.
Yes.
And then it affects the relationship. Like, yeah, we're romancing and playing and having a good time, but we're not taking care of the house.
Right.
And it throws things off. Or we're focused too much on the house. We're not having enough time to play.
Yeah. There's so many factors. So many factors. Kind of like even our whole conversation around this. It fascinates me because 10 years ago, 20 years ago, how much did you hear about the shadow realm, the shadow work? Like it wasn't in conversations as much. You know what I mean? It was always like, oh no, to be spiritual, it's all love and light. Love is the answer. It's all love, 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 love. Don't go to the dark. Don't worry, you know. And it's like it was very interesting the shift in consciousness to where it's like, whoa, 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 you can't have the light without the dark. I mean, granted, there's ancient teachings and all that have dwelled in that since ancient times, but no one really talked about it. No one was really working with that. There were, but not in the mass. Like you and me, when we're in circles and stuff, if we talk about shadow work, we have more people that are like, oh yeah, they get it now versus then.
Yeah, I definitely didn't grow up hearing about the shadow. You know, I heard about light, Jesus, the way, the truth, compassion, forgiveness, and the devil. And that was my understanding of, you know, the duality. There's God and there's the devil. Either you're a good person or you're going to burn in hell.
It was such extreme.
That's not duality, people. Okay? Duality is the existence of self in the existence of life. Because and I meditated a few years ago on the whole concept of darkness because it was like really confusing for me. And what came through is darkness is the absence of light. So there's no such thing as light and dark. It's light and shadow that exist in darkness. Because darkness is all there is. Like you think of the void, it's dark. You think of the womb space when the baby is growing, it's dark. You think of death, it's dark. But once you come out of the darkness, then you have light and shadow. So that started to help shift my perspective of where am I in my own darkness, and I'm not seeing what's light and what's shadow. And through that process of questioning, I continued to discover the dance.
It's a great phrase.
Of where am I in my light that's casting a shadow? Or am I perfectly positioned? Because there is a positioning in the light where you stand and the light is so bright that there is no shadow. Right? That to me is like that pinnacle point of perfection of I am. But it's not sustainable to just stay there. Because then you're frozen. You're not in flow. So we have to constantly be in this dance and feed the demons just a little bit. Just keep them just satiated just enough so they don't go overboard. And then we can continue maintaining our equilibrium over here.
Give them some tiny shenanigans to work with.
Just a little, healthy drama.
I love that.
And I've had to really sit with this, and it has come up in women's circles as well. Of like, but we just love a little drama because it's that shadow that needs feeding. It's that teenager that gets hormonal and ragey and needs attention, right? It's that child that's just having a fucking tantrum that just needs a nap and a baba right now, or shit's about to hit the fan, right? And we experience that as adults. But then we don't give ourselves permission to express those aspects of self that might act out a little bit sometimes. It might be a little cray-cray, and you're just like, okay, you got the zoomies right now. You got to just let it out, right? And that's where that duality piece comes in. That's where that balance piece comes in. It's like, okay, we got to feed the demons just a little bit so that they don't take over our lives.
Agreed. You know, what's interesting too is it's like, I remember from my own journey of the realizing that like, to stop looking at everything as good or bad, but to see it as lessons and to try to take, but I mean, granted, as human beings, we're still going to feel like things feel good, they feel good. They feel bad, they feel bad. But to not attach to the per se, maybe the concept that it's good or bad, but go with the feelings. But it helps with situations where you stand back and you're like, what is the lesson in this versus like, I'm a victim, I was wronged, I was hurt, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. It's like the shadow work helps with that. You know what I mean? Because that helps you to step back and try to see a hawk perspective more so than just being like going through the trenches and not be able to see that hawk perspective. You know what I mean?
I would love to unpack a little bit more about that victim, because I feel like that victim mindset is a symptom of imbalance. And it's that part of self that hasn't been nurtured, right? That then lashes out and acts out. And it's a thing that we see so prevalent in the world today, where people are just pointing fingers. Why do you think that is? What is your perspective on balance and the victim mindset?
Well, it's because it's in our movies, it's in our music, it's all around us. It's always just like, very seldom are you seeing things that says, own your shit. You know what I mean? And so everywhere it's around us. It's in TV shows, it's everywhere. We've been raised with it. It's in our cultures. You know what I mean? So it's really hard to step outside of that. And this whole like social media of like, yeah, he's all over. This whole social media thing of just like where people get lost in other people's lives and worlds. You know what I mean? And it's like, sometimes I feel like they're forgetting to live their own lives. And I'm not saying that that's what's happening, but it's just a perspective. Or, you know, like out here, I have a hard time with the fact of even like, I'm from Colorado, and here in Oregon, when you say hi to people, 3/4 of people will not say hi back. They just look at you and keep walking. And to me, I'm like, where's the kindness in that? Like, what the fuck? What did I do to you? I'm trying to be friendly. And they're like, is like, well, I don't have to say hi back to you. I don't owe you anything. I don't. And it's like, oh, I get that. But it's also not helping change the world to a better place. It's perspective. You know what I mean? Like, for most of us, like, we could be having a bad fucking day and someone says, hi, how are you? And you're like, oh, there's a light, there's a glimmer, you know? But like when you're constantly being like, hi, and everyone's just like, fuck off. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. Like, and that's That's a lot of what I come across in Oregon, which I didn't expect, by the way. I didn't even see that. But that's just one, those are just a couple perspectives, you know? I mean, there's a lot more to it. But, and then a lot of us are stuck in our own traumas that we don't know how to get out of. You know, me personally, mine is unworthiness. So like those kick in, and that causes a lot of miscommunication on my end, or what I hear, or what I'm perceiving, or even what I'm expressing or not expressing. You know what I mean? How about yourself?
I'll come back to that in a moment. I love that you brought in the social media piece, because like what I was getting this visual, it's like the social media creates this light aspect, right? Like it usually portrays the lighter side of life. And it's so saturated in our world today that anything against it is automatically a shadow. And so it continues to perpetuate that comparisonitis, the disease of the thief of joy, basically, is what comparison is. It's like, oh, look at how light and happy they are. I'm not there. And it just immediately takes you to that dark place. And the invitation is to look at those experiences as inspiration models. Rather than intimidation vessels. Because again, that's like that mindset shift of, can I see outside of me as inspiration instead of intimidation? And I really like continue to hold the vision of a world where we see more books and movies that have storylines of self-awareness and self-empowerment and taking responsibility, owning our shit, right? Like, I would love to see a movie where a divorce happens, and instead of the parents fighting over the child, they're meeting regularly to do the healing work, and they're including their children on that. You know, they're consciously uncoupling.
Yes.
And not going through court to like figure out their assets.
Right.
They're coming before God. They're asking their children what the children would like, because children love to be included.
Yeah.
And how many times, you know, that, I mean, I remember when I used to work in the school systems, and more times than I care to count, you know, I would have a child who was having a bad day, and I would go talk to them, and over time, you know, they developed relationship and trust with me. And then they would tell me, Mommy and Daddy had a fight. I'm afraid they're going to get divorced. Because it's like the fighting happens behind closed doors. But the children can still fucking hear it. They can still feel it in the way the parents engage with each other. And so there's like already from that childhood, this like fear in the child of, somebody's going to leave and just walk away, and then I'm going to be left alone with my feelings, and no one's going to care. That's really what it boils down to. It's not even like the fight itself. It's not even like the disagreement itself. It's the, I'm scared, I'm hurting, I need someone to like just acknowledge me and reassure me that everything's going to be okay, and that's not happening. So now it's your fault. And there's no one to correct that line. And then that perpetuates that victim, that mindset. Oh, Mommy and Daddy fought, they got divorced, they're fucking responsible for my problems with, okay, to a degree, perhaps. But then there comes a point where you can't just blame your problems on the world. That's not how it works.
It's true. But fast forward 10, 20 years for that human being experience, and they're full on blaming everything around them because it was ingrained with such a young age that they're not even consciously aware that even happened.
Right.
And they're just like, so they're just working with their traumas.
Exactly.
It's very fascinating.
And so this concept of how do we bring greater balance into the light and shadow aspect, we got to give space every day. I mean, yeah, I talk about and make light jokes about feeding the demons, but we really have to make space every day to just check in. Perhaps I had all these plans, but I woke up feeling off. Can I give myself a few minutes to check into that rather than pop an aspirin?
Mm-hmm.
Turn on the coffee maker and just power through.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
You know what I mean? Like, yes, honor the fact that you have responsibilities, you have meetings, you have children, you have plants, you have animals, whatever to take care of. But how much more empowered, what a greater example can you set by just being honest and asking for your needs every once in a while to be met. And that can start restoring the balance of power. Because, like, yes, parents are responsible for their children, but then the children arrive at a certain point where they can support themselves to a point.
Yeah.
Like, hey, mommy needs an extra 10 minutes today. Can you go get started?
Right.
Right? Instead of, I'm great. And the child's like, Mom, you're not fine. I'm doing great. And then it like creates this distortion around, you just gotta fucking buckle up and get shit done. Because if you don't, then it won't get done. And that's the trap that I found myself in, right? Like, I, as a child, did not have a choice. I had to be the parent to my brother, or things would not get taken care of. And so, like, it created this distortion within me where it went beyond it's not safe to express that I need help. It's that it went even further than that, right? It's like, I have no problem asking for help. But then it was like the emotions behind that weren't being addressed.
I can see that. I felt like I did a pretty good job with my kid, where I was just like, I'm like, kid, I'm struggling right now, or I'm not doing this. Can you help me out? But it also lets them know where you're at in your that communication. Where
it humanizes.
It does. And it shows your kids, too, that it's okay not to be okay.
Right.
Because we're not always supposed to be okay.
Right. Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
We don't always have summer, honey.
That's why I'm like, I'm always just like laughing and joking, but I'm also serious. Like, we need to learn to embrace being a hot mess.
Yeah.
Because not one single fucking person on this planet has it all together. In all the realms and all the ways and all the things.
Right. Thank you for saying that. Not one person has it all together. And that was that point for me recently where people look at me and they're like, wow, you're running this wellness center. You are, a global international best-selling author. Like, you're doing so good at life and you have such wonderful friends and sisters around you. You're all set. And I realized that by just like constantly being in the light and not, allowing the deeper sides of me to be seen, and it's not even that, because I'm very vocal about the challenges that I have, but I was still muting the intensity of those difficulties of mine. I was still like, yeah, it's tough, but I have faith. I would always add that little bit at the end of like, yeah, it always works out, which it does, because I am supported by life at all times. But the way I was engaging my language, the way I was holding myself, I was like still holding myself like this. Like, yeah, you're seeing me, but I'm not going to let you actually feel. So I had to drop this armor. Because then that was sending the signal out to people like, if I'm closed off, they're not going to get the signals from my heart that I'm still also a person at the end of the fucking day who would like to be checked in on. Because I was like this. I got this. I got this. I got this. Yeah, okay, I'm really struggling right now, but I got this. Yeah, I could use some help, but I can also help. So it's like there's that shadow as well of like belittling ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Playing small.
Yeah, self-sabotage.
Self-sabotage, right? And people think like self-sabotage is around success.
No, it's anything.
But it could be anything.
It could be brushing your teeth for like seriously.
Tell us more about the self-sabotage for you.
I'm constantly still discovering all the time how I'm self-sabotaging myself. As I am awakening to different perspectives and aspects of myself, I'm always like, wait, what? And it's always like a shocker to me. But at the same time, sometimes I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But sometimes I'm like, wow, that's a tricky mofo.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about one of your tricky ones that you've discovered.
Oh.
This one that I was just talking about was a real tricky one because I was like under this illusion that I'm fucking helping people.
Right?
Right? So I'm doing great. No, I was not doing great. I was way up here in the light and my shadows are like roaring all around me, but nobody can see me because I'm way up here in the light.
Well, yeah, I think like for me, like, I guess I'll use an old one when I was in my early years of, I had a friend, she called me out on spiritual ego. Because I was just like, fuck organized religion, they're all sheep, everyone's like, and I was just like, and I had this perspective that I was better than them because I was seeing through things and I saw that there's more to it all than that. And this older woman, her name was Jean, and I am so grateful that she called me out on it. And she was like, do you realize you're living in a lot of spiritual ego? And she explained it to me and I was like, oh my God. I was like, fuck. And it's just like, and I still struggle with that today at times.
Have you ever thought about that better than attitude also being a different face of victim?
Yeah. In a different perspective. Yeah. And there's the thing is, there's so much to it all in our psyche and our consciousness that we will never fully unravel all that is. You know what I mean? But at least we could try. I mean, that's how we become better versions of ourselves and be willing to go with those routes. You know, like for me also, like one of the other big things is me learning how to lay my sword down as a warrior. And especially in today's times, you know, like there's times where I'm just like, I'm ready to grab a sword and go to battle. But that's not what's called. Now it's called for me to fight back in a way of like using my words, using my presence, using my kindness, using my heart. And that's hard for me because there's a lot of times I just want to just like third eye bump somebody and just be like, you're a fucking asshole. But I can't do that. I mean, I can.
You could.
I could.
But we don't want to be creating more trauma.
No. And I don't want to go to jail. I'm a big dude. That would not go well.
I think you would be fine in jail, but yes, I hear you. I don't want to
I don't. I'm okay. I'm good on that realm. But yeah, so it's just like, it's also learning, it's another level of consciousness of surrender. And like you said, pivot and like, how do I exist differently? How do I bring this medicine in a different way?
Exactly. Yes.
You know?
And I feel like that's part of this balancing is like switching from servitude and sacrifice to service.
Yeah.
Right? Because, you know, you have your experiences of still decluttering the holier than thou complex that has been passed down through generations. I am shifting out of the women are the problem solvers in the fucking lineage that I was born into. I mean, literally. I mean, I come from half of my actually both culture where men are just coddled like literal fucking babies. Like they come in and they just drop their shit on the ground and the women are expected to pick up after them. Like quite literally. Leave their dishes around, leave their plates on the table, like just like servants. You know? And so like, even though I perceive myself to be someone who has very strong and healthy boundaries, there's still that energy of attracting that kind of dynamic into my life.
Ancestral healing.
Because
101.
Right. Ancestral healing 101. Where are you still attracting the people who need rescued?
But again, that's not even your shit.
It's not my shit.
Which is like...
But because I'm like so good at this, I'm so good at problem solving, it just feels like, well, I guess this is what I'm supposed to do for the rest of my life. Until I realized that no, I don't have to be the problem solvers and be all for everyone else.
Right.
So it's so interesting, you know, when I first started my journey of duality, I didn't know the word duality, but I knew that I needed to come back into balance within myself. I knew that there was something within me that needed reset before I went down the path of pharmaceuticals and surgery. Mm-hmm. I just intuitively knew that. It was completely disconnected from spirituality and my feminine body at that time, but I just instinctively knew that there was a better solution than pills and surgery for the problems that I was experiencing in my life. And the more I focused on my health, those problems started to go away. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't just like the physical body that needed attention. It was also my finances. Was I holding on to my resources too tightly? Because again, from that survival energy of like, gotta hold on to all my fucking pennies or shit's about to hit the fan. Like that's a big piece of balance that I feel is not addressed enough in today's world, is how we engage with money and our resources. Mm-hmm. And we see the dramatic examples of people who hoard. Mm-hmm. Or people who just become homeless because they're like, they just don't want attachments, right? Like those are two extremes of having wounds around money and resources. Mm-hmm. How do you work around the balance with your resources and your energy and time? Because time and money are the two biggest resources that we have in exchange with others.
Right. Well, mine's been an interesting journey because, you know, for most of my life, I became a dad at 21, 22. And so for my younger years, all I did was work, be a dad, be a husband, take care of the house, blah, blah, blah. So like I had a horrible fucking balance in all of that. It was just go, survival, just do what you can. But since I left when I worked at the hospital and I was a supervisor and I got burnt out after COVID and all that. And I was like, fuck this, I'm done. I did ayahuasca and it was just very clear my contracts were done. So I quit. And I have been living not on the clock for like the last 2 years. And it has changed everything for me. But it's also made it really hard for me to be in the 3D and to be on time for things sometimes. Because I'm so on, I call it spirit time, that I'm like, oh shit, I'm still in 3D. I still need to be here at this time. So it's like, it's been an interesting reintroduction because I've stepped so far back out of it that trying to come back in has been a hell of a journey for me. I am still struggling with it. And so it's been an interesting dynamic of learning how to, I'm still not even close. Because like, I was just sitting with this the other day and I'm like, I really need to like figure out my time, how I work with time, so I can be productive and do things in a different way. Because but like, you know, life happens and I have new things in my life now that all of a sudden, all the free time I had, a lot of it is a lot less now. And so I need to learn how to like work with that. You know what I mean?
Balance is a dance of constant adjustment.
Yeah.
In the plate of 24 hours that we all have.
Yeah.
We each have 24 hours a day. And there's the physical body, there's the emotional body, there's the mental body, there's our creativity, our spirituality, our energy, time and resources, and our relationships. There's like at least 8 pieces in there that need attention every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've been watching you improving on your time. So you might feel like you're not making progress. I'm here to tell you that you are.
Oh, gratitude. But sometimes things happen. Like sometimes my stomach is like, you're not going to be on time today. And I'm like, I guess I'm not. Mm-hmm. Awesome. But but it's also being human. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you're stuck on the toilet, you're stuck on the toilet. Mm-hmm. Or if you're stuck in traffic waiting for a train, mm-hmm. it's out of your hands.
Right.
There's a lot of things that are out of our hands, but it's also excuses to a certain point. It's like, I could be like, well, that's why you leave 10 minutes early for those situations. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
sounds like a big part of this balancing key is accountability and self-responsibility.
Yeah, because it's self-sabotage for me. Mm-hmm. It's the procrastination. It's the some in certain situations, not always.
Yeah. So I think at the beginning you asked me a question. What is my greatest shadow? I think is the question you asked me, because you were talking about yours being self-sabotage. Or was there a different question?
Is what we were first talking about, but I can't remember what that was because we've moved on.
Okay. Perhaps it'll come back.
Yeah. But it's like for me, the interesting thing with duality is I love it so much. But the other thing for me is like, I've come to the conclusion, I call it harmony, finding harmony within myself, because I don't think there's ever real balance. It's never 50-50. There's always a flow. And I like harmony because it allows space between point A and point B to move. You know what I mean?
So how would you differentiate balance and harmony?
Well, balance feels, in my brain, like balance has always been more like 50-50. You know what I mean? It always feels like it's just like in our brains in school and everything we've been taught, it's like, oh, you got to have balance. So it's all got to be like contained or measured. Whereas like when I say I'm going to find harmony within balance within myself, I'm like, I automatically get rigid. And I'm like, oh God, how am I going to fucking master 50-50 in my brain? But when I say I'm going to find harmony within myself, all of a sudden I'm like, I have room to breathe. I can breathe into it. There's expansion and retraction. There's room for movement. You know what I mean? And so that's why I stopped saying balance and I start replacing it with harmony. So when I work with people or I talk to people, that's what I use. I'm always like, try to find harmony within yourself. Because sometimes it's like you say balance and our brains are always like, oh shit, how am I going to make this work? Because this, and this. And like all the list you just gave of all the other things that require our energy. It's just like, sometimes we're not going to get to this point in that day. But if we're trying to find balance, we're like, all of a sudden we're like hard on ourselves because we're like, fuck, I didn't make that. That didn't happen. And then all of a sudden, but it's learning to have grace for ourselves as well. So it's like finding that harmony. It's like, okay, that didn't happen today, but these things did happen. And because of these things happened, that didn't happen. So I honor that and I will work on bringing that in tomorrow. You know what I mean? And then that way I'm giving myself grace. I'm allowing flow. I'm allowing creator and life to happen and unfold. And I'm just trying to learn how to move with it. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. Thank you so much for bringing that in, because I can totally see your perspective of how balance can be a trigger word for people and how that can, I just totally see your perspective and it makes perfect sense to me. Perhaps it would be good here for me to talk into, what I see when I say balance. For me, balance brings up, am I receiving as much as I'm giving?
Oh, I like that.
That's what balance brings up for me.
I like that too.
Whether it's in any of those spaces that I just spoke to or not, do I feel at the end of the day that I have received as much from life today as I have given to life? And sometimes that looks like me just laying in bed for a few hours and resting, because that's what I need to feel in balance within myself. And I know that the life that I have created for myself and the routines that I've structured for myself. I mean, balance works very differently for me as a woman, I feel, because every day is different for me. And even though I do have my routines and my structures and my flow that I honor, I give myself grace from that understanding that I am both human and a woman, to say it's okay if I don't show up in my practice today, because today's receiving looks like rest rather than devotion.
I love that.
Today's balance looks like working an extra 2 hours and not taking care of my dishes right now, and I can do that later. So that's how I look at balance for myself, is, has this day been in reciprocity for me and with life and with everything else that I'm showing up in life? Like, as someone who is so busy running this global education center, sometimes I don't have the bandwidth to take care of certain things around the house. And I used to live my life in a very strict schedule of literally by the hour, 6 a.m. wake up, 6:30 sit devotion, 7, whatever, go on all the way till 10 o'clock. And then I realized that that was actually not giving me balance. Staying in a strict routine calendar schedule was actually not creating balance for me, even though I was taking care of everything at all times. So I had to sit with, what is it? How does it feel to be in balance? Rather than what does it look like?
Yeah.
Knowing that I have all these things, knowing that they do need to be taken care of, ensuring that everything's done within deadlines and stuff, don't let the dishes pile up for days. But if I skip a night because I just need a little more rest, or I just need to just, sit the fuck down after bleeding ceremony for 6 hours, that's okay, because that's the balance for me. It's just resting. My rest is not doing. My rest is not taking care of the dishes right now.
Right. I think the key ingredient of that is to just, for both of us, is to try to see where are we being too rigid.
Yes.
Because
exactly.
because I see too many people, they're like, no, it has to be this way. And when it's not, they're like,
lose their bananas.
They lose, yes. And all of a sudden they're just welcoming disease.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And dysfunction.
Yep. So it's just like, again, it's like the grace. It's like coming up with a way to honor and respect the flow. And to...
And for me, like, when I stay in my balance, things are naturally, automatically harmonious for me. But I have found that when I seek for harmony, I get off imbalance. I get imbalanced.
Really?
For me personally, right? So we would love to know, like, what is your perspective on balance and harmony, and how does that show up for you? Because when I strive for harmony, things do not end well for me.
And I'm the reverse.
And you're the reverse, right? So this is another example of how we have to define, and how we have to really discover and then define what balance and harmony means for ourselves. Because what works for one person is not going to work for another person.
True. I'm Sag. I'm wild and crazy, and like, don't tell me what to do, and don't put a cage on me. That's, if it's too rigid, I will lose my shit.
And I'm Virgo. So I am like, and we're just talking about sun signs here, okay? Like, and there's so much more that goes into life than just our sun signs. But to put it in a general box, Virgos, we love structure and routine. We love things organized. Everything has a time and a place and an hour for it to happen. Like, my house literally has shelves that are labeled for guests and not guests.
This is true. That's how I know where to wipe my hands and where to get my plates. Actually, it's kind of nice. Actually, I'm not even gonna lie.
See, okay, like appreciation, right? So it's like you gotta, and that maintains the harmony, right? Like, okay, this is how I have found a way to maintain my inner balance. I don't have to constantly like tell people this is where stuff is. You have eyeballs, use them.
Mm-hmm.
And it just keeps the harmony because it's just there. It's just taken care of, right? So we have to figure out, and that's part of like me working with my shadow of like, how do I keep my house clean and organized when I have so many people coming in and out all the time? I don't have the time to constantly be like chasing after people, making sure they're not using my personal cutlery, that they're not using the counter towel for their hands, and vice versa. Label it. Such a simple concept. And some people are like really turned off by it. Really turned off. Well, they just don't stick around in my life because that's not their rhythm. That's fine.
Other Virgos and people like you are giving you high fives and they're like, that's genius.
Or they're criticizing me and telling me that I need to get even more organized, which is even more hilarious for me when my Virgo women come around. They're like, I see your cutting board says herbs and fruit, but you're cutting cheese on it, and I don't see the cheese label on there. I was like, oh, we're going there.
Wow.
You know, so now my cutting board has and cheese written on it.
And cheese.
And cheese. And you've seen this cutting board, right? So it's
I have.
so that's how balance shows up for me. It's like, how can I maintain this feeling within myself of being satisfied with my everyday life? Not looking at, have I checked off my to-do list? Because as Virgos, we love our list. Like there's a giant freaking workboard on the floor that you can't see in the camera that has like 6 different projects on it, on 6 different pages. And that's how my brain works. Like I need to have it all organized and delineated. But I used to also like have checklists. I need to check off this checklist every day because this is my way to balance. And I've spent years figuring out like balance. I even have a course on 5 steps to be at peace in the here now. It was a course that I had originally mastered as the 5 balance keys. But then I started implementing those 5 balance keys into my life, and I felt too much pressure from my own course. I know, hilarious, right?
It'd be like that.
Yeah, so I had to really repurpose this. And I love that you brought in the word harmony because I am now re-editing the course again because it's been 3 years, and I like to look at all my content every couple of years to make it relevant for the now, so it doesn't just like sit there like stale potatoes.
I like that.
So I'm remastering this course right now, and I love the idea of bringing the word harmony into this because that's ultimately what we want balance for. We want balance for harmony. We want harmony for balance. But the way balance and harmony plays out can be vastly different, like case in point here. Mm-hmm. So now I have learned to focus on the feeling of being in balance rather than the actions and the schedule and the alarms that make me go crazy and throw me off balance and create dysfunction.
Well, it makes sense because one feels more 5D, one feels more 3D. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense.
But with that said, like I will note here that it is essential to creating those containers at the beginning onset. Like set those alarms. You know, when you are like, okay, here's an example. Okay, here's an actual tangible example. So people with unhealthy eating habits, okay? When our body experiences trauma, the cortisol levels rise, okay? Cortisol is the stress hormone. And then it will reach a certain point in the body where it will not drop. The cortisol has gotten so high that no amount, what is going on, Candle? Candle is not being harmonious right now. Where the cortisol level, you know, you experience stress, cortisol rises. You experience stress, cortisol rises, and it drops. You experience stress, but you reach a threshold where no amount of meditation, no amount of working out, no amount of rest, no amount of talk therapy will bring the cortisol level down. It has gone beyond. You are just in heightened cortisol all the fucking time. Can you imagine just being like this, getting through life? That's what cortisol does. You're just like constantly like this. You're ready to fucking punch somebody. You're getting ready to like bolt. You're constantly in this like
fight or
flight and freeze. And you just can't, like, you literally sleep with your fists clenched. Your teeth start grinding. Like, I've had issues where I would wake up with massive jaw pain or massive pain in my elbows and my joints because I was sleeping like this all night, grinding my teeth and holding on. So there is a point where cortisol gets so high that none of that works, right? So how do you break that cycle? The only thing that will help is setting alarms and showing up consistently. Because it's like a baby. What does a baby need? They need that routine.
The structure.
They need the structure, right? You're up at 5, 6, 7 a.m. ideally. That doesn't work with babies. But, you know, when babies come into the world, they're just like all over the place. They have no sense of time. They have no sense. You've been a father, you know? I've been a mother of sorts. So, like, I've raised many children in like what is constant and true for all babies is they come into the world with no sense of time, no sense of voice volume awareness, no sense of spatial awareness. They just grab, they pull on your beard, they pull on your hair, they pull on your earrings, they grab your boobs. Like, they're just pulling on things. They have no sense of boundaries. So we provide these structures and these boundaries. Okay, this is when we get up. It's time to brush your teeth. Now it's time to eat. Now it's time to get dressed. Now it's time to play or go to school. You know, we provide these structures for them. Why? Because we are creating safety and trust in the body to expect certain needs to be met. And when those needs aren't met at those specific times, it throws off the natural equilibrium of the body. It throws off that sense of safety of, oh, it's 8 o'clock, I'm going to get food now. And so as adults, and this is what I've learned through my years of study, through my years of working with clients, through my own personal work, is setting those alarms and showing up consistently until that becomes the natural way of being, because that's the blueprint that then you can break out of and be more in flow.
Build a foundation.
Build a foundation, exactly. And that foundation piece is the key aspect of discovering that balance in everyday life, of reinstating harmony. So yeah, you're going to be met with resistance, just like a baby. They don't want to get into the bath at 7 o'clock to be in bed by 8, but you gotta make them do that because that, you know, that's what they need. That's part of that reparenting. So you get up, and some days I get up and I'm really tired, but I still get up and I sit in prayers at 7:30. And then after I pray for an hour, I might need extra sleep. I'll go lay down. But now my body knows, like, oh, we're in flow. We're in flow. We're in harmony right now. We're in balance. Alarm goes off to eat. You're not hungry. Have a little snack. Start developing, restoring that sense of trust and safety. I mean, this is what I do with my immersion clients is we do integrative wellness. We reinstate safety in mind, heart, body. You set alarms, you show up, you have a little snack. You don't eat when you're hungry later because it's not in your routine. You have to starve the demon of inertia, of I can just do whatever the fuck I want because I'm an adult. Because then your cortisol level is going to stay all the way up. You're always going to be operating in adrenaline. You want to do a creative project. And people have asked me many times over the years, like, how have you published so many books? Like, how are you so inspired and connected with the muse? It's because I set a time. From 7 o'clock to 9, I sit at my writing desk or I sit at my easel. Some days nothing comes through, but I'm showing up. And so now the muse comes to me and connects with me because she knows I'll listen. So like, this is a key, you know, into how do we cultivate balance and harmony in everyday life. You have to create the containers. You have to work through the resistance and the tantrum, hold loving space for it. I know you don't want to go to bed right now, but let's go lay down. I know you don't want to eat right now, but this is when we eat. Okay, we're hungry later, but this is what happens because you didn't eat. We have to starve those unhealthy habits and behaviors. And we have to teach our body what is in its natural rhythm. And how I always start with my clients is we spent the first 2 weeks in observation. Look at your everyday life and habits. Look at when you naturally wake up. Look at when you're naturally hungry. Look at, when you have peak energy, when you have low energy. And then we develop a routine around what your natural rhythms are rather than forcing you into a box.
I love that.
But we have to create a box to stabilize a foundation. And that way your body's natural metabolism can kick back online. Because what happens is when you don't feed the body when it's hungry, or when you feed the body when it's not hungry, you're continuing to feed the starvation wound. That energy from the ancestors of being in famine. You got to eat as much as you can now because I don't know when my next meal is going to come. That's not healthy for the body.
No.
So as much as, and people who have, my clients who have the most resistant to routines and calendars and schedules have the deepest trauma around either control or starvation, or usually both. Like resources were used as a way to control behavior, power struggles. I have zero tolerance for when basic human rights and needs are used as a way to control behavior. It's like, and I see it in parents sometimes. It's like, what is a common thing that I see? Something to the effect of, they use food, right, as a way to control behaviors of children. Oh, if you get your homework done, you get a chocolate snack. It's like, no, don't reward yourself with food for getting your shit done. It's that. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation that we could go into. But I want to stick to the topic of like balance and harmony, of how important it is to create those routines and structures. And now, after doing that for many years, I'm able to have a more fluid routine because my body knows that it's going to get fed at certain times, and then in between times, it can just be supported.
Yeah.
And then I'm not operating on cortisol. I'm not operating on adrenaline. I'm not grinding my teeth and clenching my fisticuffs. And when I'm sleeping, I am just letting the body restore. Okay, some days I need more rest, but then I'll get up. Like I usually eat between 8 and 10 and between 6 and 8. Those are my main eating times. And when I don't honor that, it throws off my entire fucking day. Right? And I notice that in my body. It's like, need a snack, need food, need chocolate, need fruit, need candy, need snuggles, need something now. But when I honor my routines and stay within that range, because, life, we need a range, then things just naturally are balanced and harmonious.
I dig that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I'd like to add to from a creative perspective. So like with me, I've learned that like in my mind, okay, for one thing, most people who know me know that my star family is the felines. And so like, I've learned that like when I'm in my full light self, I'm my lion self, but my shadow self is my Black Panther. And I've literally tattooed my Black Panther, my cosmic Black Panther from my shadow side. And I have my lion tattoo from my light side on both sides to remind myself the duality within myself. And that's just me being creative with it. But it also but I've also learned that like, sometimes I'm like, I feel like I'm more in my lion or I'm sometimes more in my panther. But when I can merge the two, and I even have a name that's sacred to me, but like when I'm a mix between my lion and my Black Panther self, that's when I feel like I'm my highest potential. Like energetically, mentally, physically, like all of it just feels like it's just aligned.
You're in flow.
Yeah, and I'm in alignment with that duality. There's not a give or take. There's not a pull. There's just connection. There's just that, like you said, flow.
And that's how we know that we are in balance and in harmony, when we feel on fire for life, when we feel inspired to get out of bed, even if it's to take care of the dishes and do laundry that day. We are so in alignment because we know that that's part of maintaining that balance. We feel aligned. Wouldn't you say that is true?
Yeah, agreed. But I just want to share that because like some people might be more creative, or like it might help them to visually come up with an aspects of themselves to play with it.
Because, I love that.
Because it's also bringing our inner child in with creativity and being like, because that's part of it too.
I love that. I love that practice of naming your light and naming your shadow and naming the union and noticing how these characters play themselves through us.
Yeah. Because I remember when I was in therapy and I'm getting better, but jealousy still gets to me sometimes. But like my therapist was just like, create an entity around that emotion. So you can see it in your mind's eye and just be like, I see you. I see you today. But I hear you, I see you, but you're not driving the car today. You're not in control. So just thank you for the medicine, but you can go. But so I've tapped into like, I remember that. So I kind of brought that into the mix of that.
I love that. Yeah, I have a course, Emotional Self-Mastery, where I guide people into a meditation on pulling the emotions out of experiences and turning them into characters that they can then engage with every day. Yeah. Like, hey, Tommy, what's up?
It changes things.
It really does. It absolutely does. Because then, we're just children in adult bodies. Let's be honest. We love to play. And we love to create stories, and that's part of like feeding the demons. It's like that drama. It's like, oh, what's Tommy up to today? And Tommy could be rage. Sally could be envy. Susan could be, lethargy, whatever. And you could just sit there and have a little dialogue before you start your day of like, what's Tom, Sue, Harry, and Sally doing today? And it's like, oh, Tommy's having a bad day. They're just going to be in timeout today. We're not hanging out with Tommy today, and it just like brings that play aspect in, right? Or, Sally, inertia, okay, she's just feeling a little lazy. What do we do? Okay, let's just go give her a bath right now. Okay. Now she feels better. Now we can go take care of some other things over here, So it's like, we love to, and that brings back to what I said at the beginning of our cast. It's like children love to be included, and we are children. We want to be included in our daily life. So how can we incorporate play? And I love that you brought that play in there. I remember a therapist telling me, like, think of your light and shadow as a devil and an angel. I don't personally like that, but that could work for some people. Like, right? That could work for you.
I know we've talked about this before, but like, I like to see it. Because I'm a nerd too. I have a nerd aspect. The Star Wars of like, you have the Jedi and the Sith, but then you also have the gray Jedi who's knows how to find harmony in both of those extremes. So I'm like, I try to remind myself, I'd rather be a gray Jedi than be either one of the other two.
Yeah, I guess, I've never thought about characterizing my light and shadow aspect, but now that I think about it, if I had to, I would definitely like say my shadow is the dark elf. Ooh. And I have tattoos of the dark elf swords on my arms. And for me, the shadow or the light is the sky dancers, the Kinis. Ooh. So I have the Kinis that are my light aspect, and then I have the dark elf, which is my shadow. And when they come together, it's just me, like fucking doing so good with life. Like I look good, I smell good, I feel good, I taste good, I'm just like talking good, I walk good, like I can just feel myself in alignment when I can feel these energies dancing within me. But I've never thought to like characterize them until now, and you just inspire. It's like, now that I think about it, yeah, the dark elf is my shadow that I tattooed on myself in my early 20s, not even realizing that's what I was doing. Right? Yeah. And I do have an aspect of the bikini on my ankle, which is like my light shadow, is to just like be in the frequency of love for self. Because for me, that's the light aspect, and how that works through me is like how can I love myself in this moment? And for the darkness is how can I love others in this moment?
I like that.
That's how I engage with my shadows and my duality. Because when I'm feeling light and happy, it's like, yeah, I'm loving life right now. But when I'm in my dark, I'm like, I'm not loving life right now.
Yeah.
So how can I love others when I'm going through this? Because that's really what's calling.
Yeah, I'm still working on that. It's like I'm kind of joking. I'm half jokingly when I'm in those situations, and I'm like,
haha, funny, not funny.
I'm like, you need to like give me space because you don't want the Viking to come out. Because when my Viking comes out, I can't turn it off very easily. So like, let's just not go there because it's not good for anyone.
Right.
So, but like you said, but that's my own learning of being like, wow, I'm a hot mess today and I'm very off. So like, those are the days I usually just try to keep to myself.
Yes.
I go to the gym.
Yes.
I do things and I'm like, I try not to interact with other humans because I know my fuse is short.
Right.
Yeah.
For me, I started the day in the bath.
Ooh.
I'm just like, no.
And you know what else I've been starting to do is like, because I've been working on trying to figure out my road rage. And I keep telling, I'm always just telling myself, don't take it personal. Don't take it personal.
They just have to poop, Timber.
But I'm learning to like, it's okay to yell in my own vehicle when it happens. Like I'm just like, ah, and but it's like, it's moved that energy out. And then I'm like, okay.
And it's that.
Then I say, don't take it personally. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah. And there's a difference between like shouting at someone and expressing.
Yes. Yeah. Because you're just like, ah.
Yeah. And people can feel the difference. At least people who are like empowered and not in victim.
Yes.
Because if you're in victim, you're just going to take fucking everything personally.
Yes.
FYI, if you're taking everything personally, chances are you're operating in victim.
Hate to say it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a dance, right? Like constantly harmonizing that duality within us, which isn't really dual nature. They're complements.
Yes.
And I want to start closing us with that thought of, can we continue to deepen in this acceptance that our light and shadow are complements and not enemies?
I love that. And it's true though.
Because they really just are self-serving.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's just like, as we both know, we'll have a situation that arises. And at the moment, it sucks. But like a month later, maybe 2 years later, you'll be like, oh, that needed to happen.
Right. Why did that rage come up?
Yeah.
Why did the defensiveness come up? Why did the trigger come up? Oh, it was a way of self-protection. Or it was a way of self-sabotage.
Yeah. 'Cause then you find yourself in the future where you don't react the way you did before if you're able to catch yourself or learn from it.
So in closing of today's cast, what advice might you have for our audience to take away or key wisdom to take away from today?
That duality does exist.
Yes! Thank you! No, you do not have split personalities. You are just not fully integrated in all that is you.
Yeah, it's just like saying like I'm all masculine and not feminine.
Yeah.
Like same tomato, same thing. So it's learning how to like, I guess my point of that is, for me, it's just to really just like, I guess, have grace and be able to stand back and allow ourselves to be a human being, to be a hot mess, to embrace the good and what we call the good and the bad. And, like when things are going really well in my life, I am very grateful. And I express to everyone around me how grateful I am. When things are going bad, I'm still doing my best to find gratitude in the shit. It's not always easy. I'm like, I know this fucking sucked, but I know it's for my best. Whether it's like I did something and I'm like, fuck, I fucked up. But it's a lesson I needed to learn for my own consciousness and my own growth. Or whether it's something that has happened and it's my reaction to what has happened. Either way, it's like but learning how to, but like for me, like the shadow, learning your shadow takes you so much deeper in who you really are, and it sets you free. It's freedom to me, because it allows you to fully be who the fuck you are. You're not trying to be this person or that. You're not trying to be like, well, I was raised that I can't feel, or I can't express, I can't speak my truth, I can't, but like stepping into those realms, you're like, wait a minute, the shadow realm helps you see, wait, whose voice is this? That's not my voice. Why do I even do that anymore? Where did I learn that from? And that's where the real healing and the real conscious shifts for me, I feel like, go. When things are light, things feel good. When they're dark, they suck, but they take you through a more of a journey in my perspective. And the light is like the reward. Like, not, I know you said like the reward, but it's almost like the universe is reminding you that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that there's hope, that there's, you know, does that make sense?
It does. You know, to succinctly summarize what I'm hearing and how I'm interpreting this, I would say that the shadow is freedom. Fucking love that. And the light is expression. And when we harmonize freedom and expression,
we're unstoppable.
We're in sovereignty.
Or that.
Which is unstoppable.
Yes.
Right. Because when you're in your sovereignty, you realize that you are everything. And you can do everything.
Yeah.
You have your freedom, you have your expression. I mean, nothing can stop you.
Yeah. It's the know thyself.
Yes. It is. That's such a juicy way to end this. And I just have nothing further to add into it other than I'm so glad that we picked this topic today. And what an important conversation to continue, because this is the dance of being in the human experience. It's dancing in that duality and finding the complement within that.
Agreed. Agreed.
So thank you so much for tuning in today. What a powerful chat. So good. I feel so fired and ready to go into my very big day. I have so many meetings today. And we look forward to hearing from you, and we'll tune in with you in 3 weeks for our next topic.
Yeah. Gratitude, everyone.
Blessings.